Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show. Before I get on out of here, I had to talk about a story that's very, very important. And albeit indirectly, it involves Caitlin Clark.
The biggest star in women's basketball has gone unusually quiet, but the conversation around her has only grown louder. What started as another controversy over roster decisions has turned into something much bigger. Fans are now asking whether Caitlin Clark has been unfairly targeted and whether the WNBA is damaging the very player who helped bring millions of new viewers to the league. For months, many analysts insisted there was nothing unusual happening. They argued that every rookie has to earn respect, fit into the team culture, and prove themselves over time. According to that explanation, Clark's situation was simply part of the normal adjustment process. But as more debates unfolded, many fans began questioning that narrative. Critics argued that the issue wasn't just basketball. They pointed to growing tension surrounding Clark's rapid rise to stardom, suggesting that jealousy, resentment, and league politics may have played a larger role than anyone wanted to admit. That conversation intensified after Stephen A. Smith publicly shared his opinion. Rather than focusing only on basketball decisions, he argued that Clark's enormous popularity has made her one of the most talked about athletes in the sport. Since then, reports, rumors, and online discussions have fueled speculation that Clark has become frustrated with the constant attention surrounding her, although many of these claims remain unconfirmed. Still, the debate has exploded across social media, with fans questioning whether the league is doing enough to support its biggest rising star. If the player responsible for record-breaking TV ratings, sold-out arenas, and unprecedented fan interest feels caught in constant controversy, what does that mean for the future of the WNBA? Is this simply another media-driven debate, or does it reveal deeper issues within professional basketball? Before we dive deeper, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel because more than 80% of our viewers still haven't subscribed, and your support helps us continue bringing you the biggest sports stories every week. Now, let's go back to where this entire controversy began and examine how one roster announcement sparked one of the biggest debates in recent WNBA history. The news cycle usually moves on within a day whenever fans complain about a controversial decision, but this situation was completely different. What seemed like a routine roster announcement quickly turned into one of the biggest debates in women's basketball. When reports revealed that Caitlin Clark had been left off the roster, fans were stunned, and that shock soon turned into widespread criticism. Officials defended the decision by pointing to experience, seniority, and team chemistry, arguing that veteran players had earned their spots through years of commitment. While those explanations sounded reasonable on the surface, many fans believe they ignored the reality of Clark's impact on the sport. As one of the most recognizable athletes in basketball, she had attracted record-breaking television audiences, packed arenas across the country, and introduced millions of new fans to the WNBA. Critics argued that leaving out a player with that level of influence was difficult to justify. As speculation grew, some reports suggested there were concerns about how Clark's popularity might affect veteran players and the team's overall dynamic, although those claims have not been officially confirmed. The controversy reached another level when Stephen A. Smith strongly criticized the decision, arguing that international competition should feature the best talent available and questioning whether factors beyond basketball had influenced the selection process. His comments reignited the debate and transformed the story into a nationwide discussion about fairness, opportunity, and the future direction of women's basketball. For years, women's basketball worked tirelessly to expand its audience, and then Caitlin Clark arrived, bringing millions of new viewers, sold-out arenas, and unprecedented attention to the game. That is why many analysts viewed her exclusion as more than just a basketball decision. Stephen A. Smith argued that it represented a missed opportunity to showcase the sport on its biggest stage, suggesting that growing the league should have been just as important as rewarding veteran experience. He questioned whether the decision reflected priorities beyond pure competition and suggested that the league had passed on a chance to capitalize on its fastest-growing star. As the debate intensified, speculation spread that Clark and those close to her would remember how the situation unfolded, although those reports remain unconfirmed. The controversy also reignited discussions about whether some longtime figures in the sport had been uncomfortable with Clark's rapid rise to fame. Fans revisited past comments from basketball legends, including Diana Taurasi and Cheryl Swoops, interpreting some of their remarks as unusually critical before Clark had even played a professional game. Others argued those comments were simply part of the normal scrutiny that accompanies any highly anticipated rookie. Whatever the motivation, Clark's remarkable popularity has transformed women's basketball in ways few athletes ever have, and the ongoing debate continues to raise important questions about competition, recognition, and how the league should embrace the next generation of stars. However, the conversation didn't end with media criticism because attention quickly shifted to what was happening on the court. Many fans argued that Caitlin Clark appeared to receive a different level of physical play compared to other stars, pointing to several controversial incidents that sparked heated debate across social media and sports television. Supporters claimed some of the contact went beyond normal, hard-nosed basketball, while others believed it was simply part of the adjustment every rookie faces in a professional league. One play involving Chindy Carter became a major talking point after Clark was knocked to the floor before the ball was in play, leading to widespread discussion about player safety, officiating, and whether the league should have responded more strongly. Wnba Smith also questioned whether the WNBA was doing enough to protect one of its biggest attractions, arguing that superstar players in other professional leagues often receive greater protection from unnecessary physical contact. As the debate intensified, rumors began circulating online that Clark could still be considered for a replacement spot if roster changes became necessary, although no official confirmation supported those claims. Whether those rumors were true or not, the controversy continued to dominate headlines, leaving fans wondering how the situation would ultimately affect both Clark and the future of the league. According to growing online speculation, Caitlin Clark had little interest in accepting a backup role if she wasn't selected for the primary roster. While these reports have never been officially confirmed, they fueled the belief that Clark preferred to step away rather than wait for a possible replacement opportunity. Instead of making public statements or criticizing anyone involved, she remained quiet, allowing the conversation to unfold around her. Wnba Smith suggested that Clark fully understands the influence she now has on the sport, arguing that her popularity has become one of the WNBA's biggest driving forces. He emphasized that her presence generates enormous attention, attracts new fans, and increases television viewership wherever she plays. Supporters point to impressive attendance figures and strong television ratings as evidence of what many call the Caitlin Clark effect, with several of her games drawing record audiences and forcing opposing teams to move contests into larger arenas to meet ticket demand. Smith argued that modern professional sports are driven by television audiences and fan interest, making star power a critical part of the league's growth. Whether or not people agree with his assessment, there is little doubt that Clark has become one of the most influential figures in women's basketball, and every major decision involving her continues to generate intense discussion among fans, analysts, and the sports media. Millions of viewers ultimately decide the success of any professional sports league, which is why many analysts believe the controversy extends far beyond basketball. Wnba Smith argued that television ratings, sponsorships, and fan engagement are the lifeblood of modern sports, making every major roster decision a business decision as well. Supporters of Caitlin Clark point to the dramatic increase in attendance, television audiences, and media attention since her arrival, suggesting that her impact on the WNBA is unlike anything the league has experienced in years. Others believe the discussion has also exposed a deeper divide between longtime followers of the league and the wave of new fans Clark has attracted. Some veteran supporters have encouraged newcomers to appreciate the league as a whole rather than focusing on a single player, while others argue that new fans should be welcomed because they help grow the sport for everyone. Stephen A. Smith has repeatedly emphasized that expanding the fan base should be a top priority, regardless of how those fans first discovered the league. Throughout the controversy, Clark has largely remained focused on basketball, consistently showing respect for teammates and opponents while avoiding public confrontation. Whether fans agree with every argument or not, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. Caitlin Clark has become one of the most influential figures in women's basketball, and every decision involving her continues to shape the conversation surrounding the future of the WNBA. Neutral fans have become increasingly invested in the debate, with many questioning not only the basketball decision, but also the business implications behind it. Stephen A. Smith argued that Caitlin Clark is one of the most marketable athletes in sports today, making her a valuable asset for broadcasters, sponsors, and the league itself. That perspective sparked widespread speculation about whether major corporate partners had any influence over the selection process. Some online rumors suggested companies like Nike may have preferred Clark's inclusion because of her enormous marketing appeal, while others argued the committee intentionally made its decision independently. None of these claims have been officially confirmed, but they fueled intense discussion across sports media and social platforms. At the same time, the controversy expanded into broader conversations about race, media coverage, and player recognition. Some commentators argue that Clark receives extraordinary attention because of her exciting style of play and ability to attract new audiences, while others question whether similar recognition has always been given equally to other elite players. Stephen A. Smith acknowledged that these conversations are complex but maintained that Clark's popularity is primarily driven by her remarkable performances, deep shooting range, and the unprecedented excitement she has brought to women's basketball. As the debate continued, opinions remained sharply divided, making it one of the most talked about stories in the sport and raising important questions about competition, media influence, and the future growth of the WNBA. For Clark, the situation began to feel like a no-win scenario. If she spoke out, critics would accuse her of complaining. If she stayed silent, others would continue speaking for her. Many fans believe that stepping away from the spotlight for a while might have been the healthiest option, allowing her to focus on herself and escape the non-stop pressure surrounding every move she made. The debate also turned toward Cheryl Reeve, whose comments about media attention and scheduling were interpreted by some as skepticism toward the massive hype surrounding Clark, while others argued she was simply expressing concerns about fairness across the league. Stephen A. Smith questioned whether those comments created the appearance of a conflict when roster decisions became part of the conversation, and critics felt Reeve's response to the controversy lacked warmth and reassurance. Supporters of the decision, however, argued that difficult roster choices are part of every major competition, and that experience and team fit still matter. Another rumor that gained traction claimed Clark was not interested in serving as an alternate, preferring not to wait on the sidelines for a possible opening, although that report has never been officially confirmed. Whether true or not, the speculation fed the growing belief that Clark understands her value and is determined to chart her own path rather than seek validation from anyone else. In the end, that is why this story has captivated the sports world. It is not only about one roster decision, but about fame, pressure, leadership, and the challenge of navigating unprecedented success, while millions of people watch every step along the way. If you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below.